Welcome back to Stories of Kindness, where we share real-life stories that inspire, uplift, and remind us that goodness still exists in the world. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story that touches the heart. Today's story is about unexpected genius, humility, and the power of believing in someone when no one else does. It all began on a busy Monday morning in downtown Chicago. Traffic was heavier than usual, horns blaring as commuters hurried to get to their offices. Among them was Jonathan Marks, a self-made millionaire and CEO of a thriving tech company. Known for his sharp business acumen, Jonathan had built his fortune from scratch. But despite his wealth, he was infamous for his impatience and blunt demeanor. People often described him as confident, some even said arrogant. Meanwhile, a few blocks away, on a less glamorous street, Alex Rivera, a street mechanic, was already at work. Alex wasn't rich, nor did he own a fancy garage. He had grown up tinkering with engines in his father's workshop and had an uncanny ability to understand machines as if they spoke to him. His reputation among locals was solid, though modest. People trusted him because he had never failed them. But in the grand scheme of life, his talents were unnoticed by the world outside his neighborhood. That morning, Jonathan's sleek black sports car had broken down. The engine had started making a strange noise on his way to an important board meeting. Panic set in as he realized that if the car wasn't fixed, he could miss a critical deal that might cost his company millions. His assistant frantically searched for the nearest mechanic and, after a few calls, gave Jonathan the number of Alex. Jonathan, slightly skeptical, called Alex. The conversation was short, direct, and Jonathan's tone carried a hint of disbelief. "You can fix my engine. My car's not just any car, it's high performance. Are you sure you know what you're doing?" Alex remained calm, polite, and confident. "I'll take a look, sir. Bring it over, and I'll see what's going on." When Jonathan arrived at Alex's small, cluttered garage, he couldn't hide his disdain. The tools were old, the workspace disorganized, and there was no fancy diagnostic equipment, nothing he was used to seeing in a professional workshop. Jonathan folded his arms, eyeing the mechanic. "You really think you can handle this?" he asked, almost laughing. Alex didn't flinch. He simply smiled and said, "Let's see what's wrong first. Then we'll know." The engine was a complex piece of machinery, and Jonathan watched closely as Alex opened the hood. Within minutes, Alex identified the problem, a rare issue in the turbo system, something many professional mechanics would have struggled with without the proper tools. He quickly assessed what needed to be done, improvising with the resources available in his modest garage. Jonathan, unable to contain a scoff, laughed out loud. "You're going to fix this with that?" He gestured to Alex's basic set of tools. "I've spent thousands at certified workshops for this exact issue, and none of them could solve it. And you're telling me you can?" Alex just shrugged, his hands already moving over the engine. "Sometimes experience counts more than fancy tools." Jonathan chuckled again, shaking his head. "All right, genius, let's see what you've got." The next 30 minutes felt like an eternity to Jonathan. He paced around the garage, occasionally peering over Alex's shoulder. To his astonishment, Alex worked methodically, efficiently, and with a precision that made it clear he was in complete control. Sparks of ingenuity flew as Alex fixed the issue by creating a temporary but brilliant solution that would allow Jonathan's car to function perfectly until a full repair could be made later. Finally, Alex closed the hood and wiped his hands. "You're good to go," he said simply. Jonathan, still in disbelief, turned the ignition. The engine roared to life without a single hiccup. It was smoother than it had ever been. For a moment, he just stared at Alex, the laughter now replaced with a stunned silence. You actually did it," Jonathan muttered. "I can't believe it. You're a genius." Alex smiled modestly. "I've fixed engines like this all my life. Sometimes the solution isn't in the equipment, it's in knowing the machine." Jonathan's ego took a moment to process this. He had laughed at Alex just a few minutes ago, assuming the street mechanic couldn't possibly handle something so sophisticated. But here he was, witnessing a master at work in the most unexpected place. The interaction didn't end there. Jonathan, feeling a mixture of respect and curiosity, decided to invite Alex to his office. He wanted to understand more about the man who had just saved him from a potential disaster. Over coffee in a sleek, glass-walled boardroom, Alex shared his story. He talked about growing up in a modest neighborhood, working alongside his father, and the countless hours spent learning engines by trial and error. He never sought fame or recognition. His goal was simple: to solve problems and help people. Jonathan listened intently. For the first time, he felt something other than admiration. He felt humility. He realized that true talent doesn't always come dressed in luxury or boast a fancy title. Sometimes, it's found in quiet, unassuming people who dedicate themselves to their craft out of love, not ambition. Within weeks, Jonathan offered Alex a partnership. Not to commercialize his skills in a high-end garage or to make him a celebrity mechanic, but to provide him with resources, mentorship, and exposure so that his talent could reach a wider audience. Alex, while grateful, was hesitant. He had always valued his independence and community ties. But he saw the potential to make a difference, to help people who couldn't afford expensive repairs, and agreed to a collaborative project that balanced his roots with new opportunities. News of their partnership spread quickly. Local media picked up the story of the millionaire CEO who laughed at a street mechanic but ended up calling him a genius. It became more than just a tale of wealth and skill. It became a story about respect, humility, and the recognition that everyone has a unique talent, often hidden in plain sight. Jonathan's perspective on life changed too. He began valuing real skill over titles, hard work over prestige, and humility over ego. Alex continued to work in his neighborhood garage but now had access to better tools, more support, and a platform to inspire aspiring mechanics everywhere. Their friendship grew stronger, built on mutual respect, admiration, and a shared sense of purpose. Months later, Jonathan returned to Alex's garage, not for business, but for gratitude. He brought a gift, a small token to celebrate their partnership. "You taught me something I never expected," Jonathan said. "That genius isn't about money, tools, or status. It's about passion, dedication, and knowing your craft. Thank you for reminding me of that." Alex smiled, the humble mechanic who had just proven that true talent doesn't need validation from the world to shine. "Sometimes," he said, "all it takes is for someone to believe in you." The story of Jonathan and Alex reminds us of an important lesson: never underestimate someone based on appearances, background, or circumstance. Genius can be found in the most unexpected places, and often, it's the quiet, hardworking individuals who make the biggest difference in our lives. So, the next time you encounter someone whose skills or talents seem unassuming, remember Alex and his engine. Respect, belief, and encouragement can unlock greatness. And sometimes, laughter isn't a sign of mockery, it's the first step toward realizing that brilliance comes in all forms, waiting to be acknowledged. If this story inspired you, make sure to share it with someone who needs a reminder that talent and humility can change the world. Leave a comment below with your thoughts, and tell us if you've ever witnessed someone surprising everyone with their hidden genius. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories that uplift, inspire, and celebrate the power of kindness and belief in others. Thank you for watching Stories of Kindness. Remember, greatness isn't always in plain sight, it's often in the quiet, the humble, and the overlooked. Until next time, keep believing in people, and never underestimate the power of human potential.